Hello, Ben. Let's take a look and see what you've done in this newest set. Let's see. Dear Mr. Williamson, make sure you put a comma here. I'm writing regarding the noise problem caused by your pet. I am your neighbor in room 304C and it was disrupted severely in recent days. Okay. In the last 2 weeks, my wife and I, in a formal letter or even semi formal, we don't say me and my wife. Do people do it all the time? Yes, they do. Is it grammatically wrong? Yes, it is. So you definitely want to write my wife and I. Okay? Now this is a little awkward here. Had to suffer. It's as if you were obligated to suffer, like you needed to suffer. That's not what you want to say. So let's change it around a little bit. In the last 2 weeks, my wife and I have suffered from the loud barking noise. This is a little weird. From time to time, it means like, oh, every now and then, occasionally. But if you're suffering, then the idea here is that it's probably constant. It's probably a lot. Time to time makes it sound like it's just like an annoying kind of nuisance that happens occasionally. So I don't really think that these words go together. One more time. In the last 2 weeks, my wife and I have suffered from the loud barking noise. Um, no, from the loud, incessant barking noise. Incessant is a great word here. More importantly, the noise level in the early hours of the morning was so intense. As a result, I found that I could not concentrate on my work since I often feel too tired. Okay. These are okay. I would have maybe liked something a little more. How about this? Look at this. More importantly, the noise level in the early hours of the morning was so intense that I had to leave my home office. Okay, you had this, it was so it kind of is expected that you would continue with the sentence with a it was so something that something else happened. Okay? So this kind of cause and effect uh idea here. I think that would have worked out well. Um and then as a result, oh, when you say early hours, what do you mean? Do you mean like 2, 3 in the morning? Because when you said it, I thought you meant like maybe 8, 9 a.m. I'm not really sure. Let's see. Let me try it again then. More importantly, the noise level in the early hours of the morning was so intense. Okay, yeah, that I could not sleep. That makes sense. As a result, I found that I could not concentrate on my work since I often uh, feel too tired. Okay. I am working as a surgeon in a local hospital. Therefore, I am sure you understand the gravity of my complaint. In fact, the consequence of my making any mistake during surgeries due to my lack of sleep could be very serious. I understand that barking is one of the innate characteristics of dogs. Nevertheless, I also think the ones who own and raise dogs should be able to control their pets' behavior. Thus, I would be perfectly satisfied if you could please keep the barking noise to a minimum level at late night hours. Otherwise, I might have to upgrade my complaint to a higher level. I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon. Yours sincerely. Okay. Um, I liked this. I liked this paragraph quite a bit. You can see I didn't make any comments. I also liked this. If I remember correctly, it says something about like use a nice, respectful style. Uh, you did kind of threaten the person, which it could be argued isn't really totally respectful. You didn't necessarily have to threaten your neighbor. I will have to upgrade my complaint. You're supposed to provide some sorts of suggestions about how this could be remedied. Okay. And you didn't include the task, but from what I remember, it does say, offer some solutions or suggest some solutions. It says something like that. And so what you want to do is you want to use the functional language related to what they've asked you to talk about. So if it says suggest or, be firm, but like have some solutions or maybe present some solutions, then that's what you want to do. And I didn't see any here. Okay. Instead, you threatened. And so again, if you had the task on your paper, I could tell you how well you actually did with the task achievement. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, so this is the one about energy security. Great. All right, by the way, I just looked at what the language of task one was, and it says something about, yes, it does say nice, respectful style, and also says describe what you would like to happen. Like I said, I don't really think you did that. So, as far as your task one is concerned, I don't really feel like you covered that last bullet, what you would like to happen. Uh, you basically said that the owner should, yeah, I guess here you did. I'll be perfectly satisfied if you could keep the barking noise down. Still, that's not really what I think they're asking you to do. I think they're basically telling you, like, please move the dog to the other side of the house so that I don't hear it. Or please, have some sound, please install some sound insulation or something so that it reduces the noise. So that's what they mean, like what you would like to happen. Okay. Please take the dog to a vet so it can stop barking so you can get to the bottom of this problem. That's what they mean. So this, I don't really feel covered that bullet. And of course, that's going to affect your task achievement score. Okay. I would say that probably an examiner will interpret how well they think what you wrote is what you would like to happen. I'm a little doubtful and I'm a little more conservative. So I would like you to write something there in that paragraph that clearly states, look, this is what I would like to happen. I would like you to do this with your dog. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Now let's take a look at this one about energy security. Yes, energy, no, experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether clean energy would bring a bright future or pose a threat to society. This essay will analyze both sides using examples from the Japanese government and the UN to demonstrate points. This essay also advocates the view that the utilization of green energy is a much better and more economical option. Okay, I ideally would have liked to see these two paragraphs combined into one. Okay, so what do I mean? All right, you wrote this and that's fine. Then you could have said this essay advocates the view that the utilization of green energy is a much better and more economical option and will use examples from the Japanese government and the UN to demonstrate points. Done. It's a much more cohesive way rather than saying this essay will, this essay will. Okay? So I'd like you to try doing something like that. On the one hand, green energy is undoubtedly environmentally ALLY friendly and economically sound due to the below reasons. To start with, when used, not when being used, when used, renewable resources such as wind and solar generated power will not produce any harmful substances which could cause environmental effects. Okay. In contrast, consuming traditional sources, including coal and fossil fuels, would produce a large accumulation of exhausted fume and, in turn, exacerbate, not S, because it's wood. It would produce and it would do this, and so it would exacerbate the greenhouse effect. In addition, clean energy is rather cheaper than traditional energy for people to draw upon. That is because traditional energy will leave waste after being used. I don't understand that. Okay. Thus, authorities have to, no, not the authorities cost a fortune. The authorities have to spend a fortune to deal with such waste. For example, recent research by the Japanese government shows that over $60 million had to be spent per year on nuclear waste treatment, while the use of solar and wind power. All right, this is not its own sentence. When you use while like this, you have to connect it to the previous sentence. On its own, this is not a sentence. Okay, so while the use of solar and wind power would not need such a staggering expenditure, therefore it is conclusively clear that green energy is a much more economical choice and environmentally sound. Don't forget to add that because that's what this paragraph is about. It's about both. Okay, so you said it doesn't produce harmful substances that cause greenhouse effect. Fine. And then you said it's cheaper. Good. Okay, so you covered both areas. Fine. Let's keep going. On the other hand, there are also some people thinking the supply of green energy cannot be guaranteed stable, which might impose a burden on energy security. The reason behind this is that the use of such energy tends to depend on weather conditions. For instance, after being investigated by UN researchers, over 80% of British people living in rural areas have admitted that they failed to enjoy a 20-minute hot shower powered by solar energy in the absence of sunlight. Okay. Such a situation is unlikely to happen if water is heated using sources like gas or coal without buy. Consequently, it is possible to state beyond doubt that green energy is somewhat not as reliable as traditional sources in this day and age. Okay, that's good. I like this. You could have also talked about how there are expenses because energy security also has to do with how affordable this is. So you could have also talked about how expensive the expenditure is to set up like the equipment in order to harness energy like this. You could have talked about that, but I thought it was fine. All right, in conclusion, although it is true that green energy is an economically and eco-friendly, wise alternative, it is not a reliable source sometimes, owing to the uncertainty of natural conditions. That being said, it can be predicted that this problem would be tackled with the increase in technological development, with an increase. In the foreseeable future, I believe clean energy will become the primary choice for people in the future. All right, we just said in the future, so don't do that. So in the foreseeable future, primary choice for people, full stop. Okay? All right, Ben. So I thought this was good. I mean, it had little issues, but nothing really super, super serious. Um, but again, I mean, there were some things. For me, I guess the biggest problem was your task one with that last bullet that you didn't really cover. This was fine, I felt. Just like I said, little issues here and there. Okay, so you're definitely on the right track. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the last essay we have together. You're going to get a link in your email telling you how you can continue working with us. I don't remember if you've said when your test is, but if you have a little time, I do want to encourage you to sign up for some more essay corrections. This way, we can continue working together and we can continue giving you feedback for your writing to help you improve and to help you see what areas need some strengthening. Okay, so hopefully that's something you will take advantage of. I hope we can continue working together. Either way, no matter what, do let me know um, what your plans are, okay? And I'll look forward to hearing from you. So good luck.